Toi, thank you for dreaming, then building the community you didn't have but always longed for. Together with Cornelius for 20 years, you have invited poets into a circle of love and productivity, where the impossible and fearful become not only possible, but inevitable. You have seen deep into the hearts of hundreds of poets and inspired them to bring their best selves into the sanctuary and crucible that is Cave Canem, an existential country of creativity and transformation. You've told us that this week in Greensburg is your last official retreat. And so this morning, we pay tribute to you as best we know how. But the pride, the joy you've taught us to claim will continue on and grow. Wherever a Cave Canem poet walks in the world, there you also will be.
So some of you might know that Toi, Terrence, Major Jackson, and I lived in New Orleans for a while together. And I think that's the start where I really got to know Toi better and become family. That also is the place where I knew that Toi is the person who takes Cave Canem everywhere that she goes. That's really how we ended up there with her in New Orleans. And when I was in New Orleans, I was also 6 months pregnant. And towards the end of the term, Toi said to me, you know, sweetie, if you want me to be at the hospital with you and Terrence, I'll be there. And sure enough, when I went into labor, there was Toi at the hospital. She met us at the hospital, and it was a long day. It was a 12-hour day. And so Toi would come in and check on us, and then she would go out into the hallway and be on the phone with Cornelius and Sarah and Carolyn, because she was also having a Cave Canem board meeting. So it was like that for many, many hours, right? Her just checking, or many minutes, I guess, her checking and coming in and out. And I can remember feeling like terrified and panicked and elated and deflated and uncertain and insecure. You know, all those things that Toi Derricotte would say, you should write a poem about it. Write that poem you don't want to write. And I knew then that those weren't just words, but that came out of the living poetry that's Toi, out of Toi's experiences. And those are the words of the woman who wrote Natural Birth. And that's a book that Toi and I sat at in my kitchen in New Orleans and read together aloud over and over and over, because she was preparing to reprint. She was preparing the manuscript for a reprint. And Toi is just the type of person, the type of poet who labors over every line and every word. You know, it seems natural, but it's not. There's so much more at work. And I felt like so honored to be able to witness that in her at that time, to see her process that, you know, the way she just hangs on to those phrases and thinks and thinks and thinks. And I can't say for sure that I always knew what Toi was thinking, but what was clear was that she had a vision for her poems, and she spoke from a place of like integrity, you know, no matter what she was writing, no matter what she was reading, whatever she graced me with hearing.
The Undertaker's Daughter. Terrified at a reading to read poems about my fears and shames, a voice in me said, just open your mouth. Now I read about Anubis, the god of Egypt, who ushered the dead into the underworld, who performed the ritual of the opening of the mouth so they could see, hear, and eat. Had it been my father speaking, giving me back that depth of taste and color, fineness of sound that his rages stifled, twisted and singed shut? I had thought it was a woman's voice, though I had hoped all my life that my father would feed me the milk my mother could not, make from her body. Once, when I opened the door and saw him shaving, naked, the sole of his foot resting on the toilet, I thought those things hanging down were udders. From then on, I understood there was a female part he hid, something soft and unprotected I shouldn't see. Thank you.
But I want to tell a story about meeting Toi for the first time. I had read Natural Birth. I had read Empress of the Death House. Who was this woman? Who was this poet? Who made these poems? Who said these things? Who brought this out of the magma into the world? Who was this? And I invited her to come and read in Chicago, where I was teaching at the time. You don't know this story.
I know the other story that you forgot.
Oh, well. And so, I was like, I'm going to meet Toi Derricotte. I'm going to meet Toi Derricotte. Everything about you intrigued and excited me, including your name. Toi Derricotte. What kind of name is that? Derricotte, Derricotte, Derricotte. Toi, Toi, Toi. Later to be enchanted to come to call you Toysy, and to also know that you were Toinette. And that carries forward. And I don't know who I would be as a poet without you. I can't imagine who I would be as a poet without you. And that is about your example, but that is also about what you said to me always about my work. When I first started making poems out of my dreams, and I didn't know what these strange things were. I didn't know or recognize the voice that they came in. I didn't know if they were good or just weird. I didn't understand. And it was you, it was here where I could read them, and it was you who said, in the words you used, you sent me a postcard, and these felt like words that you would find in an archive, and in fact, perhaps they now are in an archive. You said, these poems will make your name. Yes, you did. And so I kept writing more and more and more and more dream poems, but more importantly, trusting that part of my voice. And there are hundreds of people who can say that, but I've never thanked you for that. I don't know who I would be. You know, we here and together have shared sorrows and joys and struggles and sisterhood and changes in life, and so very much laughter. So very much laughter. And I think that powerful, body-filling laughter, the surprises, as Yona said, that you don't know what's going to come out of your mouth, and how wonderful that is. When Detroit comes with you, we love that. All of you is surprise and beauty, because all of you is truth. Toi, and here I'll read, is clear water. Sometimes it rushes, sometimes it roils, sometimes it is still and placid, but always, always it is clear. And it is your willingness to come to us clear and luminous that is the gift of self that you bring forth in your person and in your work, and that has affected literally thousands of people coming to voice and sharing that human fiber between us. You don't settle for anything less than the truth. Such is your demand, such is your gift. Your brilliant, simple questioning, your relentless self-revision is inspiring. Inspiring in the quite literal sense of giving breath. You give breath to others through your inspiration. I can feel the feeling in my body that I felt when I first heard you read Black Bottom, when I first heard you read For Black Women Who Are Afraid, when I first read Natural Birth, and understanding very specifically that these were Black stories that had not been told that could now be told. And that a space had opened wide for us, for Black people, to tell all of our stories. And that is what you have given to the American tradition, you, Toi. And that is I think without measure. You can come to Toi as a student, as a poet friend, and feel urged by her to speak the unspeakable. You may feel that you come to the exchange with secrets in need of aeration. And what I think I most want to say is that in your presence, Toi, miraculously, there are no longer secrets. There is no longer shame. Secrets are transformed into truth, the shared self now known to others, and we begin to approach the same clear water that you are. And just to paraphrase words that are so important to you from the Gnostic Gospels, with which you open tender, if you bring forth that which is within you. If you don't bring it forth, it will destroy you. If you do bring forth that which is within you, it will set you free. And you and your example and your sisterhood and your poems and your teaching and yourself have taught me that. And I can't imagine a more profound understanding to carry through life. So all of my gratitude, all of my respect, all of my love, all of my sisterhood to you.
Touching, not touching, my mother. 1. That first night in the hotel bedroom, when the lights go out, she is already sleeping, that woman who has always claimed sleeplessness. Inside, her quiet breathing like a long, red gown. How can she sleep? My heart beats as if I am alone, for the first time, with a lover or a beast. Will I hate her drooping mouth, her old woman rattle? Once I nearly suffocated on her breast. Now I can almost touch the other side of my life. 2. Undressing in the dark, looking, not looking, we parade before each other, old, proud peacocks, in our stretch marks with hanging butts. We are equals. No more do I need to wear her high heels to step into the body of a woman. Her beauty and strangeness no longer seduce me out of myself. I show my good side, my long back, strong, mean legs, my thinness that came from learning to hold back, from taking what's not mine. No longer a thief for love. She takes off her bra, facing me, and I see those gorgeous globes, soft, creamy, high. My mouth waters. How will I resist crawling in beside her, putting my hand for warmth under her thin night dress? Thank you.
Breathe through. If I could resurrect the voice of Soldier Truth, I would cry, come down, Black Moses, to the river. Come down, Nate Turner and his men. Come down, Marcus Garvey of Jamaica. Come down, Ida B. Wells of the Wind. I would tell them that the war that their spirits waged is not over. I would tell them that we are stumbling. I would tell them that so many have fallen. If I could be a long black bird, if I could be a long black bird, if I could rise from the bowels of my body and sing the words that never left the lips of Martin, who could never speak my pain, I would take the revolution to the bookstores. I would take the revolution to the parks. I would go down on my knees in the bathroom of all our dreams and beg my dying brothers to rise from the flames on the floor. I would command their souls to see from the stones of their fathers' graves. I would command them to be healed. I would command them to be unafraid. I would command them to walk down the road that was paved by our warrior brothers. Osato of saints and sweet Essex, our Joseph of the morning light, come down, my early brothers, and unlace our tongues with your song, so that someone among you will know that we alone have remembered how to wed what we know is of man and of woman's blood rising within us. How to breathe through to the edge of the sadness knifing through us. How to rise from our tombs of darkness and despair. How to become as one with the burning ocean tides, raising their heads and falling against the pulsing walls of our wombs. That was written by Vincent Woodard, who was a Cave Canem fellow, one of the first Cave Canem fellows, at the end of the first Cave Canem retreat. Can we be black and be a poet? Can we be a poet and be unafraid? If we are a poet and we write what we know, who will listen to us? If we write what we know, will our shame choke us? Can we be seen in the light of this room and in the world outside of this room? Who's going to notice where we are, who we are, who's going to remember our passing? Now, I could spend the rest of this time talking about all the ways that Toi Derricotte has answered those questions. But you know it, don't you? We know it. And I could tell you, I could go on telling you the numerous ways that Toi Derricotte has shaped my life, that has made me become the person I have become. I would not have become the person I've become without crossing paths with this woman. Impossible. We would not have done Cave Canem if I had not crossed paths with Toi Derricotte. Something might have happened, but it wouldn't be this. And I just want to say to Toi that this has been one of the great adventures of my life, and I am so thankful for you being who you are, for you being as brave as you are, for teaching us all that you can actually ride the demon and write a story about it. She taught us how to do that. She has taught us how not to be afraid, which is an incredible thing. She has also taught us, and I want to say this as loudly as I can, how to be tender with each other. I come from a family that I know loves me, but we are not tender people. We are not tender people. This is also partly because we exist in a world where tenderness gets you killed. And so you have to be hard. My sister is hard. I love her severely, but she's hard. Toi prevented me from becoming hard. And she's prevented you from being hard as well. From being cynical, from thinking that it isn't worth it, for being persuaded to be told that you are not worth anything, to being told that the stories that you write aren't as good or as exciting or as urgent as other stories. That doesn't count. That you have to become somebody else if you want to be a poet. That you have to scrub off a certain kind of layer of yourself in order to find the core of what your words and your stories are. And Toi has taught us that's a lie. You can have it both ways. You don't have to explain or apologize or step back or suffocate yourself in order to be the person you need to be. For me, that's the essence of what Cave Canem means. And again, I mean, we've had a lot of help. I'm really glad it's out here in this audience. Carolyn's out there. Elizabeth is here. There's some people from the first year of Cave Canem that's in the audience. Terrence is here. But without that vision, without that idea of thinking there needs to be a space, it wouldn't have happened. Now, we always joke that with the first years of Cave Canem, we didn't know what we were doing. But Toi knew this. She knew it had to happen. She knew she was going to have to find allies to make it happen. She knew that in order to make it happen, you'd have to become a good listener. In order to make that happen, you have to make space. You really have to make space. You have to give something up in order to make it go forward. That's the lesson she's taught me. That's the lesson she's hopefully will teach all of us. And so even though she's going, and I'm still having trouble with that. I'll tell you straight up. I'm slightly in denial still about that. I haven't quite absorbed that fully. But even though she's going, I want her to know that even though she's going, Cave Canem will never be mine. It will always be ours. Always. Right? And so, Toi, thank you. Thank you. And go back out into the world and astonish us some more with your words.
On the turning up of unidentified black female corpses. Mowing his 3 acres with a tractor, a man notices something ahead, a mannequin. He thinks someone threw it from a car. Closer, he sees it is the body of a black woman. Medics come and turn her with pitchforks. Her gaze shoots up past them to nothing. Nothing is explained. How many black women have been turned up to stare at us blankly? In weedy fields, off highways, pushed out in plastic bags, shot, knifed, unclothed partially, raped, their wounds sealed in powdery crust. Last week on TV, a gruesome face, eyes bloated shut. No one will say she looks like she's sleeping, ropes of blue-black slashes at the mouth. Does anybody know this woman? Will anyone come forth? Silence, like a back wave, rushes into that field, where just the week before 4 other black girls had been found. The gritty image hangs in the air for just a few seconds, but strikes me, a black woman. There is a question being asked about my life. How can I protect myself? Even if I lock my doors, walk only in the light, someone wants me dead. Am I wrong to think if 5 white women had been stripped, broken, the sirens would wail until someone was named? Is it any wonder I walk over these bodies pretending they are not mine? That I do not know the killer? That I am just like any woman, if not wanted, at least tolerated? Part of me wants to disappear, to pull the earth on top of me. Then there is this part, which digs me up with this pen and turns my sad, black face to the light.
I made a song about a year ago. Grandma really dug it. So I remixed it. This is my little tribute. And your granddaughter couldn't be here, but I have her voice recorded. So she's here with us.
Smile for me, Grandma.
me, grandma. About to lay it down, talking about my grandma and how she make me smile. She got the craziest style. When she's around, it makes me want to stay for a while. But she make me so proud. When I'm at your poetry readings, I just sit in the crowd. Her words profound. So when she throwing it down, it just makes me go wow. In the kitchen, that's where grandma be, yes indeed. Cooking them family recipes. Would you like more mashed potato? Yes, please. Even make veggies taste good. I have extra beans. Cook them all day. Let's have a feast. Set a place for Mommy. Make she rest in peace. Hominy grits, bacon, eggs with the extra grease. Grandma cooks so good, y'all best believe. Pass me the ketchup, please. After she got me doing dishes, like don't leave it messy, please. She's the best from the west to the east. Put a smile on my face. You bring out the best of me. Smile for me, grandma. Just smile for me, grandma. Smile for me, grandma. Just smile for me, grandma. Let me tell you how grandma do it. I'm talking about my family unit. Best believe, my grams are truest, so anything that happens, we gon' stand right through it. She full of wisdom and knowledge. Peaceful like the Dalai Lama. Co-founder of Cave Canem. Give it up for my grams, y'all. Let's pay homage. Ever since I was a little shorty, you had my back and you were always there for me. Used to pick me up from the airport, then we'd go to the mall and you buy me some Air Jordans. So when I played ball with the rest of the kids, they was all sweating my new kicks. I was making all my shots, no bricks, and all I could think's my grams the shit. And I'll always be your baby boy. You bring me joy, grandma toy. Now we're retiring, and we all just admiring and smiling. I love you, grandma. Smile for me, grandma. Just smile for me, grandma. Smile for me, grandma. Just smile for me, grandma. Smile for me, grandma. Just smile for me, grandma. Smile for me, grandma. Just smile for me, grandma. Thank you.
Do it after that. You know when your kids just get so good and they just make you look so silly. I'm so proud of my mother. And seeing all of you here and really getting into it, you know, and just seeing that so many of you are, you know, her children, and seeing the love you give her, you know, this is really working on me. This is intense, you know? And Mom, I just love you so much. I like she don't, but I do. So this is just a little song, just talking about how beautiful you are. You mean to me. Hope it works Lovely on your own. You don't need nobody else. It's pronounced with a sigh every time you walk by. Lovely lovely by yourself. When you're on your own, then I know you so well. 'Cause the love that you give is your reason to live. Lovely by yourself. There's no end to the things I will do for you. Everything that I am is a gift to you. You help me with my problems, helping me to let them go. You got so much love to give. Help me with my worry, mama, gave me the strength to let them show. Best believe you can lend a helping hand. Lovely on your own. You don't need no one else. It's pronounced with a sigh every time you walk by. Lovely by yourself. And when you're on your own, then I know you so well. 'Cause the love that you give is your reason to live. Lovely by, lovely by, lovely by yourself. Thank you, Mama.
What can I say? I wrote this like 6 o'clock this morning. Like you know everything on it. I'm overwhelmed, of course. Everything you said. To be seen with my imperfections. Being a leader is not my natural role. You know, I want to be way in the corner somewhere. So I didn't know that's what me and Cornelius and Sarah talking on the porch was going to lead to.
Mom, pull the mic a little closer.
Like that, like that. Thanks.
Just inside.
Okay, maybe this is better. But you know, it's like so amazing how everything happens in Cave Canem. You know, that's why I know it's time for me to move out of the way. It's all intuition, right? That's how it works. And I know it's time, I know Cave Canem is safe. What I wanted to do, I did. It was more than I wanted to do. Cave Canem is just an idea. It's not even an idea. It's sort of a tentative hope, you know? It's hard to sustain, to believe in, you know? And then you say it, and then Cornelius is there, and he says yes, and then it's a bridge, you know? And then Sarah's there to say, do it out of our own pockets. But what she was really saying is, I believe in you guys. I believe in this idea. Let's try it. Let's give it a go. And then, then I remembered Father Francis at the monastery. That's how it is. It's not a plan. It's not anything we knew. It's a scary, weird attempt to do something. And that's all you guys got. And it had something to do with a belief that came from our own background, from our ancestors. And I understand that it's not anything that, I mean, there was a bunch of hell going on in my family. But that's where I also learned to love and to have fun and to celebrate and to believe and to hope and to have ambition and fight. And there's something underneath that said, we're something. We're something special. And that part of that hope was there. I can't say anything else really about what it was because you've already said it. And it seems like I can leave and I know you feel it. You know what it feels like inside you. And that's the thing that makes me know it's safe, whatever happens. I feel it now, 20 years later. The hope I had, that tentative thing. It comes back to me as a wave of love. A wave of love I take in with all my heart. You have such hard work to do. You ain't gonna like it all the time. It's not gonna be easy. You're great poets. You have great ambition. You will not settle for less. You don't want to be famous. Famous. You want to write great poems. Sometimes you have to turn your back on who says what about you and blah, blah. And go with that deep thing in you that wants great poetry. And now, maybe you have a friend or two. Somebody who knows what you're trying to do. They won't always be patting you on the back and, they won't always be doing that. But they understand. And whatever you write, they want to hear it. And of course, I'm always available. I was reminding people of a story I heard in graduate school about when Carl Sandburg got really old, they would trot him out when funders came. And they would, for cocktail parties, they would bring him along, but you had to watch him all the time or he might get loose. And so one time he actually did get loose. And everybody was looking for Carl Sandburg. And where is he? So there was a poet backing out of the driveway who almost ran over him. and then wrote the poem, "What would have happened if indeed he had run over Carl Sandburg? Would he be famous then for the rest of his life as the poet who ran over Carl Sandburg? Or would his name be anathema? He'd never be ever able, you couldn't talk about him anymore because he had killed Carl Sandburg. So don't do that to me." Let me go out to pasture. But no, I'll be back. I'll be back. Okay. I don't know how much to read of this because you got to get busy now. Okay, so I'll say kind of as briefly as I can. You know how I heard Billie Holiday sing, and how when I heard her I knew I wasn't alone. And that was when the hope started out, that there was a community. There were other people out there who spoke my language. And I didn't start meeting them all until the poetry community. And I want to give a shout out to the white people in Cave Canem's history. Let's give a shout out. Because a lot of us got some white in us. And we wouldn't be here without those white folks. But what's been so great about the white folks is they've been staying in the back of the bus. They know their place. And that's reason for another shout out, ain't it? Because these guys believe in our cause. What's happening? What happened? Shout out down back there in the back. Yeah, because these guys knew what we needed and they were willing to put themselves back in a place where nobody saw them. In fact, they're kind of hiding back there, right? Because you don't want to put too many of them up front, like in this bus. But that's what they were willing to do, that because they believed in justice. They believed in our cause as much as we did. And of course, you go back in history, right? And there are those guys back there. So this is part of a history of love and force. And Carolyn, Sarah, I hate to say it, Sarah, but you're so like one of us. I don't know how to say that, but I sort of don't even think of you as a white person. You know what I mean? Thanks. So Sarah, first of all, Cornelius, I gotta say, Cornelius talks about the importance of us saying yes. How another person, that we always have to thank the person that said yes to us, because there's so many that we wouldn't exist without that yes. But there was Cornelius, so happy and just with that offhand manner. And when I said I was so terrified, would you And he said, yeah, whatever. And it became a bridge, something stronger than just my own hope. And Buddy, what you said was so moving to me. I love you so much. So who knows? I mean, who knows why these people come into your life? You know, why that semester before did I read at Chicago, and then and meet Elizabeth, and then when Cornelius and Sarah and I said, yeah, but who can we get to come for faculty? Who'll do it for free? We don't have any money. I said, oh, Elizabeth will do it. Call Elizabeth. Yeah, oh yeah, I'll be there. And then Father Francis, who I call, you know, the innkeeper for the birth of Cave Canem, right? And he recognized what a powerful thing this was and brought us to the monastery. The handsomest priest, honky priest, that's what I call him. The dancingest. I was like, what? Oh my God. So I remember the gold moon over Mount Cielo, over our circle in the second year. And I was assigned to me, because I take these symbolic manifestations of the universe and all. And there was that gold moon, and I thought, the universe is telling us, we got it. We're totally here on your side. And this circle, I heard thunder outside. And Chris reminded me the rain came. And to me, that's something happening, some kind of energy in this group. And you know, that's what I'm thinking about when I think of every group and what the power that you guys have gone out into the world with. Every year, how you've done all of these. You can't stop Cave Canem because of what you're doing in your lives. Oh, God. Okay, I'll just kind of, well, Elizabeth and Afa, who didn't hang up the phone when I said there's no money, and who were the first CC mentors. And it was so much fun. We just had so much fun we were so bad. We were sneaking up on the roof drinking, and we were so bad. We were sort of the same age as the fellows, a little bit. And then Michelle Elliott and Terrence Hayes carrying people's luggage up to their room. And before we even met them, getting them settled in their rooms and cracking jokes, and how Terrence is with people, and getting them comfortable. That entrance. There he was. He happened to be my graduate assistant at the time. How did all this stuff happen? Yeah. It's not about me. It was like, okay, Toi, we're knocking on the door, we're coming through. And the first CC fellows were the first years who are here. Stand up. Yeah. Man, the stories I could tell about each one of these guys. I'll tell you later. With the second year? I just thought here saying, and the stories we can tell about you. Uh-oh. Third year? Oh, yeah! Woo, yeah! How wonderful when you think about, CC Fellows coming back as faculty, right? The rotation. Okay, 4th, 5th year, anyone? Okay. Oh, yeah, right! Okay, any other year that I haven't mentioned? Okay. Okay. Okay, it's all of, what'd you say? What? Oh, you guys come up later. Okay. So it's all about this gift that you're carrying, that we're all carrying. So our first director, Carolyn McClellan. Carolyn, stand up. Stand up, Carolyn. Man, Sarah was so happy she had a mother in that moment in time, right? Whoa, hey, Carolyn, would you mind being our administrative director? She couldn't say no, and she was the first person that... Oh, yeah, she could have. Yeah, she could have, it's true. But she did it because she believed in us so much, and she wanted it to happen. She was committed to justice, and she still is. She's still doing that same work. Oh, man, so, okay. So our founding board. I know Joanne is here. Would you stand up, Joanne? And Des is here. And, Joanne had given some stability to my idea just 2 years before Cornelius and I got together with Furious Flower, and my first Furious Flower. And I said to Joanne that year, I said, I feel a shift in the universe with this. And to see Black poets together and valued, it was an amazing thing. And Des, how many times all night long did we talk on the phone about her giving me free lawyerly advice? And now Des has just gotten 2 big awards, and her book is published, and she got a Kresge grant. That's a secret. You didn't tell me that last night. But she's been plugging away for 20 years. And so that's how we're doing it here. And then anyone else from the board? Of course, Marie Brown and
Metta's here.
Metta! Where are you, Metta?
Terrence.
Oh, Metta! It's Terrence, stand up!
And Terrence.
Thank you, Allison. You helped me, Allison.
And our former board member, Henry.
Henry, stand up!
Henry Reed.
Thank you, Allison. You helped me. Okay? And so, Henry and Diane do City of Asylum. We'll go there tomorrow. That's
And
their...
Elizabeth was on the board. Wait.
And Elizabeth?
I just remembered.
Yeah. Yeah, you were just looking there like,
And you're an honorary director. You were multitasking.
yeah. Oh, God. We had to do wear so many hats, right? So, and Metta and Terrence, Metta, thank you for coming. I love you. And Terrence, what are we going to do with you, Terrence? What should we do? I don't know. Thank God for Terrence and Yona and Ua and Aaron. And I have to say, Chancellor Mark Nordenberg. Please stand up. I know, please stand up. Now, University of Pittsburgh is our lead funder for Cave Canem for 9 years. And that's another mystery and magic that happened, that I ended up at University of Pittsburgh, where the chancellor just happened to have a son who's a poet. Michaels, please stand up. And he was a graduate of NYU's program, where I was a graduate, and Sharon and Galway and all those guys that taught me a lot about speaking the truth and saying the unsayable. So it's all mixed up, you know? It's not in a separate little neat package. And that's how it is. And I remember I'd see Chancellor Nordenberg at poetry readings at University of Pittsburgh. What the hell is a chancellor? Poetry reading. You know, it just didn't make sense to me. They don't come to poetry readings, you know? And I'd go and talk, and really nice guy and everything. And then we were here several years, and then I sort of started to make that connection, like, hey, maybe. And the answer was yes again. And what a powerful connection and support that is for us. It just means everything. And okay, and then the wonderfully gifted, crazily gifted staff, Dante, Nicole, Mo, Amanda, who make all of this happen. I mean, these guys are so smart. They make it like glass. I mean, compared to where we were 20 years ago when we were walking around like, I don't know what's going to happen next, you know? So please stand up, you guys. You know, that's nothing but love. It's all love. Okay, now, Allison, can you think of anybody else? Allison. Fuck! I thought I was doing such a good job going down my list. And so Allison comes in, she's got on this cute little suit, and she had a little hat on. I remember, okay, I'm making it up. But it wasn't. It was, I mean, it makes the story better. So I remember her coming in with a little cute little hat with a floppy thing on it, like a little flower or something. And I don't know. So anyway, she was sitting there, and so she had her job interview, and we were all really giving her. Terrence, man, he was tough. He was sort of asking like, "You're a white person, you gonna be all right here?" But he doesn't those words. But he was putting a hard, tough questions, you know. So anyway, and she said, I was looking at her like that I had this really mean look on my face. But when I get anxious, and I was so anxious, I get this look like. And so she thought I was being judgmental, but I was just like, oh God. So anyway, so then at the end of the interview, you know Allison, she'll ask for what you want. So she said, well, how many other people are you in competition for this job? I thought, okay, now, if I if I say 0, then that'll make us look like we're not really that desirable an organization to work for. If I say too, it'll be a lie. So I started looking around for somebody else to answer the question. And everybody was like looking at me. So I said, well, like, you're the only one.
No, what you said exactly was, well, I guess you're kind of it. So I went out to meet my husband, and I said, Billy, I had a great interview. I loved everyone. This is the second interview. He said, well, I said, I'm not sure, but I think I've been hired.
You have really brought us to an entirely different stage as an organization. And when I see the people in this room that you have taught to do the things that administrators do with such confidence and ease and just skill and knowledge, you are a great teacher. And you just teach by being in the field. And the other thing you did is, I was a little bit nervous about approaching, like when people would have Cave Canem do a reading and everything, oh yeah, that was so good and everything. And she was like, no, they are glad to have us. That was the attitude. We're the ones that have the thing. And that shift in vision, that belief in us as carriers of something so valuable that we are the givers, and they, if they're lucky and treat us right, are the receivers. Okay, that's it, man. So anyway, I just want to tell you, I feel that my work is done. I feel the universe has used me in the way that I was supposed to get used. My children. I want to say that Tony, I had you when I was 20. We grew up in the projects together. We've gone through in our relationship the really hard things that I exposed you to because of my own fears and inadequacies, and we've come to a great understanding now that you're 54 years old. And it has not been an easy journey, but one done with tremendous love, and I see in you a love way beyond one that comes from me. It's really you. You are a great lover of your children, what you've given your children, that love you've given them, and give back to me now. So one of the things I discovered recently is that you don't ever get the perfect parents who parent you. What you get is you get children who forgive you. Yeah. So, if you're lucky, and you see, and eventually we all will get it, because that's the way we change history. You can't make it change by just making it change now. Eventually, you, and that's what you're doing. You see, you're doing work. There's so much work we didn't know how to articulate, right? And that's what's happening. Eventually, we'll articulate what the work is. But the work is to forgive our ancestors and to understand them for what they did. Doesn't mean we're not going to squeal on them. Because that's how we learn to take care of ourselves, to tell the truth. But we do it all in a context. And that's what's so powerful about Cave Canem, that context, right? Did I forget anything else? The work is transformative. I am so grateful for my part in this journey. I love you. I'm there for you always. And I'm going to be writing in the Hillman Library.
Look for me there.